Once upon a time, there was a little boy named Timmy who hated apples. He thought they were boring and bland, and he always refused to eat them. He only liked to eat candy and cake and ice cream. But eating too much candy and cake and ice cream was bad for his teeth. He never brushed them, and they became rotten and decayed. One day, he lost one of his front teeth. He was sad and embarrassed. He didn't want to smile anymore. His mom took him to the dentist, and he told him he had to eat healthier food and brush his teeth every day. He gave him a new toothbrush and some toothpaste. He also told him to eat more apples. He said apples were good for him and that they would make him strong and healthy. He said apples would help clean his teeth and prevent cavities. He said apples were sweet and crunchy and juicy. But Timmy didn't care. He said he would never eat an apple in his life. That night, as Timmy was getting ready for bed, he heard a strange noise coming from the kitchen. He got out of his bed and tiptoed downstairs to see what it was. He peeked around the corner and saw something amazing. There, on the kitchen table, were the apples his mom had bought. But they were not just ordinary apples. They were talking and laughing and dancing. They had faces and arms and legs, and they were having a party. Timmy couldn't believe his eyes. He rubbed them to make sure he was not dreaming. He decided to get closer and see what was going on. He walked into the kitchen and said hello to the apples. The apples stopped their party and looked at him with surprise. "Who are you?" one of them asked. "I'm Timmy," he said. "I live here." "Oh, you're the kid who hates us," another apple said. "We've heard about you," a third apple said. Timmy felt embarrassed. He didn't know what to say. "Why do you hate us?" the first apple asked. "We're so delicious and nutritious." "Yeah, we have vitamins and minerals and fiber," the second apple said. "And we're sweet and crunchy and juicy," the third apple said. "And we come in different colors and shapes and sizes," the first apple said. "And we can be eaten raw or cooked or baked or juiced," the second apple said. "And we can make pies and cakes and muffins and cider," the third apple said. Timmy listened to the apples and felt curious. He had never thought about apples in that way before. He wondered if they were telling the truth or if they were just trying to trick him. He decided to ask them a question. "If you're so great, then why do you have worms?" he asked. The apples looked at each other and laughed. "We don't have worms," the first apple said. "That's just a silly myth." "Yeah, worms don't like us either," the second apple said. "They prefer rotten food. Besides, even if we did have worms, they wouldn't hurt you," the third apple said. "They're just protein." Timmy felt confused. He didn't know what to think. He decided to ask them another question. "If you're so good for me, then why do I need to brush my teeth after eating you?" he asked. The apples looked at each other and smiled. "You don't need to brush your teeth after eating us," the first apple said. "We actually help clean your teeth." "Yeah, we scrub away plaque and bacteria with our natural acids," the second apple said. "And we stimulate your saliva production with our sweetness," the third apple said. Timmy felt amazed. He didn't know that apples could do that. He decided to ask them one more question. "If you're so tasty, then why do you make me feel full so fast?" he asked. The apples looked at each other and winked. "We make you feel full so fast because we're good for your appetite," the first apple said. "We fill you up with our water content and our fiber." "Yeah, we keep you from overeating and snacking on junk food," the second apple said. "And we regulate your blood sugar levels with our natural sugars," the third apple said. Timmy felt impressed. He didn't know that apples could do that either. He decided to give them a chance. He reached out his hand and picked up one of the apples. It was red and shiny and smelled good. He took a bite and felt a burst of flavor in his mouth. It was sweet and crunchy and juicy. He liked it. He took another bite until he finished the whole apple. He felt happy and satisfied. He looked at the other apples and smiled. "Thank you for teaching me about apples," he said. "You're right, they are delicious and nutritious." The apples smiled back at him. "You're welcome, Timmy," they said. "We're glad you like us." They invited him to join their party, and he agreed. He danced and laughed and ate more apples. He had the best time of his life. The next morning, when his mom came downstairs, she saw Timmy sleeping on the kitchen floor. She was surprised and worried. She woke him up and asked him what happened. Timmy told her everything. He told her about the talking apples and their party and how he learned to love apples. He told her how he ate a lot of apples and how they made him feel good. His mom listened to him and smiled. She was happy and proud. She hugged him and kissed him and told him he was a good boy. She also noticed something else. His teeth looked brighter and healthier. She saw a new tooth growing in the place where he had lost one. She was amazed and delighted. She told him it was time to get ready for school. Timmy got up and brushed his teeth. He didn't need to, but he did it anyway. He packed his backpack and grabbed an apple for his snack. He said goodbye to his mom and ran to the bus stop. He was excited to tell his friends about his adventure. He also hoped that the apples would come back tonight. He couldn't wait to see them again. The end. If you liked our story, please remember to press the like and subscribe buttons and the bell icon for the latest and healthy bedtime stories for your kids. Happy sleeping! Good night!